Welcome to this week's episode of the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. We always seem to bring you like the highs and the lows, and unfortunately, DJ, I'm remembering the low of 36 for 9. We said we'll not say all out, but this week, India hit a new kind of low where at home they hit 46 all out. Now, let's not get into that reaction straight away, but that was the opening so that you guys know what to expect in this episode. DJ, how are you doing, man? Did you end up watching a large part of the game?
Yeah, I watched most of the game actually. You had the pleasure, if I'm not wrong, of hosting the 36 for 9 episode as well.
I
So
that's I just
you
as I
get the best
opened, I
jobs.
felt as I opened, I felt like. But listen, I had the pleasure of hosting the Gabba episode, right? So I think it balances out for me.
True, and I was just thinking, this is New Zealand's first win in India since 1988, right?
That's
Is
ridiculous.
this their GABA moment? There hasn't been enough publicity of this moment yet from them.
That just tells you about the team, right? They didn't even make a big deal about it. They just kind of went about it. Maybe it was the first test, but it is a big deal. India doesn't lose that much at home. Like you said, New Zealand hasn't won in India for a long time. They came and I mean they've just rocked it, man. So let's get into it, right, DJ? We'll break this down. We'll keep a view a little bit on after we go through this game on if India needs any changes for the second and third. We'll keep in mind the Australia, but let's talk about this test as it stands. To me, I was excited because, you know, the test season is beginning. Yes, we played Bangladesh. Yes, we did well. There was rain one game. We kind of accelerated. We ensured we got the right win, but that was expected. And so after coming off of Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, I was really looking forward to this because New Zealand, right, even if you look at their side and you may not recognize everybody in this lineup because we don't watch that much test cricket of New Zealand. You know, and you can be guaranteed that they're a side that is going to show up and fight hard. So it was always going to be exciting. DJ, before we go into the toss, team selection. Any thoughts there? I think the only real surprise was Sarfaraz in for Gill, but I think that was an injury related, right?
Yeah, it was injury related. And if you remember, I was actually gunning for Dhruv Jurel to play ahead of Sarfaraz because we wanted to prep for Australia, right? And I had said Rahul, I'd back him to carry on in his position. I had said, I mean, the usual lineup should stay, but we didn't know about Gill's injury. And I think when asked the question, should Sarfaraz play instead of KL, I'd said actually I would prefer for Jurel to play ahead of Sarfaraz. Happy to be wrong on this occasion, as we will no doubt speak further about. But yeah, it meant that there were lots of slight changes to the lineup, right? And I wonder how much that affected the equilibrium of the team going into the first innings. They won the toss, remember, as well. So that was, we should talk
So
about
let's
that.
come to that. So let's come to that. So I have a very close friend in Bangalore, and so he was actually sending videos of the rain the previous day, a little bit of rain on the morning of, pictures of the clouds, and he just kind of as he was sending these messages, he talks to some of the guys in the group who are a little bit more into cricket, and he's just like, so you win the toss and you bowl first, right? This is the age-old mantra in cricket. It's cloudy, the ball is going to do stuff, and Rohit Sharma wins the toss and decides to bat. DJ, what did you make of that decision?
Well, in hindsight, which is clearly 2020, it was a disaster of a decision. It was at par with Nasser Hussain choosing to bowl first at the Gabba back in 2003. It was probably at par with Saurav Ganguly choosing to bowl first in Johannesburg in the 2003 World Cup final. But it was just, I mean, we read the pitch wrong, I'd say, because we played three spinners. So Kuldeep played instead of Akashdeep. And we chose to bat first. Clearly, we thought the pitch is going to turn, right? And maybe that was a master plan, but there had been thunderstorms in Bangalore. The first day's play was completely washed out. I don't know whether the toss happened before the washout day or not. Maybe not. Maybe it did happen on day
No, I
two.
think I think it happened later because I remember it was raining on day
Yeah,
one.
so we knew that it was going to be a shortened day test match, and the pitch had been undercover. So I, I mean, I think Rohit acknowledged as much in the
Yeah, he said when he went to the media after, he said "Talwar chalao," right?
which
Like bring
wasn't a
out the
reference
fight,
to
like
the
not the
Jadeja.
Chaddu thing at all. Um, no, but I think how much of this is being flexible, right? Because yes, the model is three spinners. Yes, the model is bat first. Yes, the model is if you're bowling on day five, you know you can defend a small total with three spinners. I just don't know if they got caught up in that, right? Because to the average person watching, like us, we were just like, this is a disastrous decision. So I don't know. It feels like they had premeditated that they want Kuldeep to play. They want three spinners. But anyway, look, that's how it went down. So it was Ashwin, Jadeja, Kuldeep, Bumrah, and Siraj. India went out to bat. Jaiswal got 13 of 63, not the kind of innings you're used to from Jaiswal. Rohit 2 of 16. They both got knocked over early. And then DJ, why don't you just walk us through what followed after that?
I mean, do I have to really? Because I think this has been picked over by a lot of experts. I mean, Kohli, part of this was actually whenever India comes under pressure, they try and counter attack. And we saw a little bit of that in the second innings as well. But I mean, it was the ways that we managed to get ourselves out, right? I mean, Rohit was bowled by Southee, right? Like he comes down the track, ball comes in, and I think it hit his leg stump. And how many times have we seen Rohit Sharma do that? But this time he was just beaten by the movement, right? And it wasn't great. It wasn't good look. Virat Kohli got a good ball. I pretty looked like solid plan actually. Like he kind of fended at it and then took a good catch at leg gully. Sarfaraz Khan, I mean, at that point, I was like, okay, maybe we should have played Jurel. Naught of three. Kohli had got naught of nine. Rishabh
The
Pant,
Sarfaraz Khan was very disappointed by the end of that first inning
yeah, I mean,
because you're worried about. I actually agree with you on the Jurel part. Like part of when I say I think Sarfaraz will play earlier, it's just because I genuinely think that. I don't think that he's better than Jurel technically. I just have this gut instinct that this is what's going to happen. But when he came out, he was missing the ball. And then to think that I'll counter attack. So he was at three balls. I think he missed two. And then he said, all right, let me go into what I do at home in Ranji, which is walk down the pitch and smack it, right? And he did that. And it was just so ridiculous. Yes, nobody wants to single him out, but somehow that number 4 wicket always tilts the game, right? When they get out like that.
yeah, and I mean, it continued in that vein. I mean, it was, although Rishabh Pant briefly played some funny shots. I think there was a reverse sweep thrown in of a fast bowler. But KL duck, Ravindra Jadeja duck, Ravichandran Ashwin duck, Kuldeep Yadav got two, Jasprit Bumrah got one, Mohammad Siraj got four. And it was, I mean, at one point it looked like we were going to be 36 all out, and that would have been pretty bad. And they only used three bowlers. Tim Southee took one for eight. Matt Henry, who everybody will remember from that famous New Zealand semi final against us a few years ago in 2019, he took five, and Will O'Rourke, 4 for 22. End of story, 46 all out. And I mean, I was shell shocked, man. Like, you don't expect to turn on the television. Like, I probably missed part of the first session. I try and watch the end of the first session or start of the second session. But that time, I think India were 28 for 8 or something like that. And I was just like, am I reading? Like, have I woken up? Am my eyes like still working? Or what am I reading? How is it 28 for 8? What is this? Awful. It was horrible. Like, just deer in headlights, man. Caught.
It was shocking, and I was just thinking about that 45 minutes of bad cricket just doesn't leave us every year once or twice, and this was clearly another one of those disaster situations. It was also too similar to the first test of a series, like the 36 all out last time. There were like 4 5 ducks in the middle. Nothing clicked. The ball was moving. I don't know. It felt really bad. Anyway, we've spoken about this enough. We've also dealt with the 36 not out. So this is a kind of second innings on that. But DJ, then let's come to, suddenly the sun comes out, New Zealand come into bat. Devon Conway, who all of us know from his CSK days and his T20 cricket, comes out there, and DJ, he just took apart that 46-run lead in no time. He hit 91, 11 fours, 3 sixes at a strike rate of 86. How good was he? How good was it to see him back, and how good was he in this opening role?
I mean, it was good to see him back. It was good to see him in that opening role, but I mean, yeah, they batted brilliantly, right? India did fight, let's say, with the ball in the second innings. I mean, we're a long way behind the game after day one. I think New Zealand were 183. But yeah, I mean, nothing was happening. Bumrah got the ball to move around a little bit. It just felt like the Indian bowlers were shell shocked as well. But no, I mean, coming back to your original question, yeah, well played, man. Like Devon Conway, the Chennai Super King, if I'm not
Yeah,
wrong. Yeah, he was.
yes,
He batted really well. He batted really, really well. And of course, son of the soil, Rachin,
that
the home
guy.
ground of Rahul Dravid. The first part of his name, according to folklore.
Yeah, he's just every time I see him, he gets better and better. Like he lit up that 2022 World Cup, at least the first half. He had a soft IPL, I would say. I was expecting him much more from him, but when I saw him in this Test match, he just again took the game away from India. 134 at a strike rate of 85 in a 4-day Test, effectively scoring fast, putting the pressure on, batting through batting through the tough periods, getting through to bat with the tail. Now, Tim Southee gave him great support. 65 of 73.
More than the entire
We,
Indian team.
it's absolutely more than the whole team. We have seen this too often with a Sam Curran and other lower order guys who just don't let us get that inroad, right? And a 65 on its own is okay, maybe you could live with it once in a while. 65 paired with that 134, DJ, that just took the game away, right? New Zealand ended at 402.
Yeah, I mean, you had Conway make 91, Rachin made 134, the Saudi made 65. And honestly, it's the Saudi and Rachin partnership that, let's say, put the nail in the Indian coffin, because we had bowled well on that day 3 beginning. We had made inroads. We picked up, I think, 4 wickets. So they were 7 down for 233. And then, I mean, that's under 200 almost. We could
Yep.
have hoped to keep the lead under 200. But I mean, Saudi, when he got out, the score was 370, man. And he'd hit
That,
sixes yeah.
they added almost 140. I was thinking about it as you're talking. Yes, if we had even given them a 40-run partnership instead of the 140, this would have been a very different game.
I
So
mean,
that, you're right, that obviously the 46 all out changed the game, but that partnership, I think, broke India's
yeah.
chances completely.
I mean, if you're all out for 46 and your opposition gets 402, in most worlds you're done for, right? In that third innings, you lose by an inning. So at that point, most teams would be looking to avoid an innings defeat. Even that would require superhuman effort to bat out in the second inning.
Absolutely. So before we get to the second innings of India, DJ, just want to ask you one question before the break. What's your take on Mohammad Siraj? There's been a lot of chat about him. Now he's 5 years in, I think, in his career. He is, let me give you my view. I think he's a workhorse. I think he's a guy you want on that team. When the going gets tough, I think he can bowl 30 overs a day, 40 overs a day if needed, right? With the same intensity. But my sense is just that he's not the second pacer. He's almost like a third pacer in overseas conditions. when you've got options with guys like Akashdeep who may move the ball, they're young, and there will be other options in the absence of Shami. What's your take on Siraj? Is he the partner to Bumrah, or does India need to think a little bit different?
Well, it's a good question. It's difficult for him right now because you would have thought that he would have performed a bit better in these conditions, given what New Zealand did to us, right? But he didn't really cover himself in glory. He is very much a third seamer if Shami is fit. Who is, and you sent us the link saying Shami had a full session in Bangalore on the sidelines of the test match. I mean, how much would have India
Yeah,
had loved to do a quick super sub? And
yeah. Imagine
like
impact player get
all of a
Shami
sudden,
on for 1
Kuldeep
hour,
says, "Oh, I've got a concussion in my head," and he leaves. And then suddenly Shami comes in, bowling.
like he did in that warm up game in the last World
Yeah,
Cup. He's
last
just
over.
like chilling. Yeah, chilling in the warm-up game. The game is done. Everything is finished. They toss Shami the ball, who hasn't bowled forever. He's got like 4 wickets in that over.
Yeah, but no, I think he's definitely a third seamer. He's had his moments in one-day cricket. He's had his with the new ball, so he's definitely been a great performer for India in white ball cricket. I think in Test cricket, he is very much still a third seamer. But in the absence of Shami, the question is, has he been able to step up to that second seamer spot? I can't remember any spectacular Test performances, but maybe I'm missing something here. I don't know.
No, I agree with you. I was also, my view is he's the third seamer. I think in the absence of Shami in Australia, England, New Zealand, South Africa, I think he can come good. But even in India, like, you think of like, he's not at an Umesh Yadav level. Look, Umesh Yadav has played like the maximum in the last decade or something. He's not at that level where you're just bringing in somebody in who's good, who can bowl when everyone's having a rest. He's a top bowler, right, for India. So I don't know. I'm just expecting a
Yeah,
little bit more out of
I
him.
don't know who the second seamer would be in the absence of Siraj even. I mean, everyone seems to be a good third seamer. You've got Akash, I'd say Mukesh Kumar. Where's he disappeared? Because he played some test matches for India. I think he
In
made
South Africa.
but he made his debut within like 3 days in all three formats or something like that, something
Yeah,
crazy like that.
something ridiculous.
And who else? Prasidh Krishna, he's out after
He's been
two test
injured.
matches in
Yeah,
South Africa. Navdeep Saini has come in the news recently saying he's been bowling fast. I'm just trying to go through the names of bowlers that we.
yeah. Even I think Ashdeep is not in a test consideration.
Arshdeep isn't there. Was that lefty that we picked, right, recently in the squad?
Khalil,
Is it Khalid? Thought we
I
picked
don't know.
another lefty. I'm sure there's
I don't know,
another.
but like there's a Mayank Yadav. I think these guys have to be groomed for the short game first. This is too intense
Yeah.
to bring them into the long format, especially in India. But yeah, I mean, look, I think we've addressed it. I think he's the third pacer, so
And we have a
let's
lot
hope
of
that
third
by this.
pacers, right? Like he needs to step up
Yeah,
to the plate and bring the second seamer, like
yeah,
taking
yeah,
5 wickets, supporting Boom, the new ball and beyond.
absolutely. All right. On that note, we're going to take a very quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back after the break. So, DJ, before that India second innings started, do you think they watched the VVS Lakshman and Rahul Dravid partnership from 2001?
No,
Even.
definitely not.
You don't think Gambhir had a big screen up there and that was just playing that on loop?
Not at all. In fact, I I mean, 36 all out, they would have just hoped to avoid an innings defeat at that point. Honestly, like that, I don't think that amount of deficit has ever been overturned in Test cricket, has it? I'm sure it cannot.
I,
It couldn't have
I
been.
mean, it's
It's
too
too big.
46. It's too big. It genuinely it's too big. But they did well, DJ.
Yeah,
They like at one point they had us believing like
that's the
when
worst part about being an Indian
that's
fan.
the
It
worst.
is.
Yeah,
I mean, you see Jaiswal jumping out, missing one, and getting stumped. You're like, what are you doing? Dude,
that was
this is a test
ridiculous.
match, but that's how this team plays. Like
Yeah.
Rohit played, we scored at 5 runs and over in that second innings. I mean, it was incredible. It was actually that partnership between Kohli and Sarfaraz. It was actually quite comedic as well. I don't know, that was good. Because remember these guys played together at RCB when Kohli was
Yeah,
captain.
where he told me you need to lose weight.
Yeah, then we'll retain you. He actually retained him also, but then he dropped him because he didn't fall.
How long has Sarfaraz been around? Because he's 26 or something.
Really?
And I
He played
remember
two under 19 World Cups. I remember that because he scored 100 in the under 19 World Cup final, which I want to say, who was a Delhi Daredevils batsman? Unmukt Chand?
Onmuk Chao got bowled by
Yeah,
Brackley in
first
the
ball.
first ball.
Yeah, of
That
the
was,
IPL.
the best start to the IPL ever.
Yeah, sorry for going with the tangent, but I think he played under Unmukt Chand in the under 19 World Cup. Unmukt Chand is now 30 plus and retired. He was gone to the US and didn't get picked in the US team for the World Cup, which is the worst, bichara. But I think he played under Unmukt Chand. I think so. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. And I'm just reading as you're talking. So he's 26 years old. He got picked for that RCB side where he got retained and in 2015.
What?
So 9 years ago.
So
That
he was
means he was
17
just 16,
when he got
17
retained. Dude, this doesn't
when
sound
he
right.
got retained. And he was definitely looked half his size then.
But dude, I mean, what a comeback story, right? Like he left
Amazing.
Bombay, went to Assam. Where did he go to play? What are his teams on cricket for? I think he went to Assam or somewhere. He
I'll
went
try
to a
and pull it
small,
up. But
but then he came back to Mumbai and he just reeled off 100 after 100, 200, 300, 100 after 100, 200, 300. He made like aggressive gestures when he made 100 and people said he had an
yeah,
attitude problem. Made his test debut in the England series, got 450 plus scores in a row. And I mean, if there was ever a time to prove your critics wrong, it's probably when India had 346 runs behind. Virat Kohli's at the other side. Virat Kohli goes on the last ball of the day. It was too much, man. That was
that was
just,
too much.
it was what?
And he
And he
took a
reviewed it.
second run. And he took a second run.
Yeah, that was just,
Like he could have taken one, but Kohli's athleticism didn't allow him to do that. He went
he's
back
like,
for the
my steps,
second.
I need to get my Fitbit steps
Yeah,
up.
he's looked at it. Like Sarfaraz has finished his month steps. Kohli's like, I'm short for my day. Um,
And then he
I
edges
mean,
it and he takes a review, and I'm like, dude.
but isn't one review just reserved for Kohli?
Yeah, except when he hit it once and didn't review it. In the last test match against Bangladesh,
Oh, he did?
yeah, he hit the ground and he walked off. Anyway, maybe he didn't want to bat against Bangladesh or something, kya pata. But yeah, and then Sarfaraz and Pant, man. That was great to
Dude,
watch, sir. It was exciting.
that was great. Like, I was stopped. For those 3 hours or so, nothing else mattered. I was just sitting in front of the TV. And they both play a similar style, right?
Yeah,
Like,
they've got
they
a
both
similar
play.
vibe to them, I have to say.
Yeah, they've got a chilled out vibe. They've been at Delhi Capitals together. Judging now by the age, they probably played under 19 or some cricket.
Maybe it was the Pant team that he played together. Maybe that
I
makes
mean,
more sense age-wise, not the Unmukt Chand one.
yeah, exactly. Given the otherwise, he was playing when he was 10 or something, which it does feel like he's been around that long. But it was so good, dude. Like they were between them, like 76 strike rate, 94 strike rate. This is
Did you
just
see the run
what
that they
they're
took?
known.
Like Pant was just
Yeah,
strolling back and remember Pant is the one with the knee injury, so he's not kept in the innings, in the New Zealand inning. Pant is
yeah.
strolling for the second one, and this guy's like sending him back, waving his
In the middle
hand.
of the pit.
In the middle of the Pant is not even looked. He's just like, this is definitely two. I'm just gonna jog the second one. And Sarfaraz is like doing a full dance. So that was a great moment. But yeah, I mean,
That was a good one, but it was a disaster moment also. Like it was just a bad throw.
yeah.
But there was still enough time for the keeper to turn around and still hit the stumps. Like
But if the
it
keeper
was a
just stayed where he
disaster.
was, that was out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was just a lapse for some second. for New Zealand.
Yeah, but it was great. I mean, that was a great partnership. That's the kind of partnership that you like makes Test cricket worth watching. Like, it must be so irritating for Tom Latham, right, as a captain, just watching those two guys do
Yeah.
their thing, hit
And
sixes.
it's the run. They hit 170 runs.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do. Ashwin is not here. I'm trying to do the math. 36 overs, 170 runs.
That's about 4 runs an
That
over, just
I
under.
mean, that's ridiculous. That's
5 runs an
ridiculous,
over,
right?
just under.
5, yeah.
Just under 5, yeah.
But anyway, and so then Sarfaraz, I think, I just very, very happy to see him. Still, I'm not saying that I'm convinced he will work in Australia against the Australian bowlers on Australian pitches, but he just stuck in there and fought, right? So I give him a lot of credit there. On the other hand, does it in every country. He plays the same way. He is, watchful at the start, says, bring it on. DJ, did you see when they took the new ball? I think he hit 107 meter 6 of Saudi.
Yeah, and there's a whole Jared Kimber Good Areas article on this about how that ball may have lost India the test. Because they changed the ball.
Why?
They changed the ball.
Oh, they changed the ball.
It was like the MS Dhoni 6 in the RCB.
In the
There Yash
quarterfinal
Dayal got a dry ball. Here, New Zealand got a different ball. And if you look at the stats after the 6, I think it was 50 for 7 or something. Bowled out.
Yeah.
That was a collapse. The trigger of the collapse was actually Rishabh Pant. Just casually down on one knee, sweeping Southee out of the ground.
Dude, I mean, it hit the top.
So ridiculous.
It actually went out of the ground.
Yeah,
it actually went out.
It sounds so ridiculous when you say it, but
wasn't that around the time of the new ball anyway? Do you think?
No, it was a new ball that he hit for 6.
Correct.
The first new ball was lost. Then they got a second new ball.
So you're saying that
which is actually the third new ball technically, because the second new ball was lost in Cubbon Park.
So what you're saying is that they basically started from a new ball again. So the 8-9 overs that had passed.
Yeah. Or the ball moved more. It's a different ball, right? It's not that scientific. Then not all of them behave the same. Some swing more, some seam less, some have a better seam. That it's not a scientific thing.
Okay, got it.
The
it's just
ball
the ball
they replaced
changes.
Actually got wickets. Pant got cramped out for 99. He's got 607 90s.
Yeah, dude, it's just ridiculous.
He's almost got out on every score in the 90s now.
Yeah. And I think a lot of those at home, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, he's had a few. Look, I'm not counting the not outs. He's had a 89 not out, a 93 or something like that. 97. I can't remember what that number is. But
no, Sydney also he got out in 90s, no? 97.
Correct. 90s. Yes, 97. That's the one. And then Gaba was 89 not out. But I just feel like at home it's a lot more. Don't know why. Maybe he's just anxious to get there with this big
Maybe
6.
it is like small ground, a little 6. But here actually poor guy was trying to hit a 1 for once.
And anyway, when the 6 happened, Rahul's face was just in disbelief. And when Pant got out, actually you could see Rahul was shell-shocked.
And then
because
KL's face was in disbelief as he nicked one behind again.
Yeah, and that's
then
when
Jadeja
it just
hit a
started,
rubbish shot, and then Ashwin
to be honest, these guys, they got us. I mean, 433 for 5 with Rahul, Jadeja, and Ashwin to follow. You are thinking that this could be a 600.
Yeah, but
right?
Tell me, when our middle order and our top order will both bat together? Why can't they ever bat together?
It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
It's like, okay, the top order is taken holiday today, so middle order will bat today. The top order is made runs, middle order won't make runs. What?
It's a disaster. I mean, I was expecting. So India ended up at 462, effectively with New Zealand to chase 107. I, at the bare minimum, expected 100 more runs from those three.
Yeah.
Jadeja, Ashwin. And I'm not saying I wanted Ashwin to hit another century. No. 33 runs per person more is what my base level expectation.
Yeah, because the pitch was not seemingly doing that much. You see the dismissals, right? Rahul edged one behind. Ashwin got one. Okay, that was a good ball. But Jadeja slapped one to cover. Even Sarfaraz, the way he got out. That was not a great shot, right? Like he hadn't played those kinds of shots. He had it over the top, but That was a bit of a weird shot on 150. Maybe he lost concentration after getting to 150. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I
that
think. I
was
mean, I
the
think he
moment
did,
to
but
do something special,
yeah,
right?
correct.
So,
And actually, for Rahul, right, because you've been in and out, you've been up and down the order.
and
Just and
India have changed their whole order to accommodate Rahul at 6, by the way.
yes,
Kohli went up to
yeah.
3. But he has an
I mean,
average of
Kohli went to
19 or
3.
something.
Yeah, Sarfaraz is batting at 4. Again, not his position. Even Pant is sticking to 5 to accommodate Rahul at 6. So it's almost like they are seeing him in this role for the foreseeable future, and they want him to cement it, which I don't agree with. But I just expected more, man. Like I said, another 30 runs each from these three guys, and I think it would have been a different story. As it turns out, New Zealand made it very comfortably. Bumrah got the ball to do a little bit at the start, a beautiful delivery to Latham, got Conway out, but then Will Young and Rakshin Ravindra just easily, I think just very, very easily finished off this game. They got their 110, 27 overs, and that was it, man. The game was done. Interestingly, for everyone hoping for rain, I heard that today it was raining cats and dogs in Bangalore to the point that a match would have been called off. So, DJ, second and third test very quickly. What changes? Like, if Gill is fit, does he come back? Does Rahul go out? Do we try? Um, do we try an Akashdeep instead of Siraj? I do want to put one more plug that the domestic season is going on. So Iyer has scored a century. Pujara, when I last checked, was batting, I think, close to double 100. And Washington Sundar hit 100. And
152.
Washington Sundar has actually been added to the squad. So Iyer and Pujara I was mentioning, but they are not in discussion. Sundar comes in. What happens? What happens to the squad now? Second and third test. You're behind. Keep in mind that you got a tough series to come. You have the World Test Championship in sight. What happens from here?
So I actually think we're playing at Pune, where suppose there's going to be slow turn. I actually think Rahul will go out for Gill if Gill is fit. So if Gill is fit, Rahul will be replaced by Gill, and Gill will go back to his number 3 spot. Everybody will drop down one. If Pant is unfit, I suspect Churel will play instead, because Rohit said something like we need to keep him wrapped in cotton wool. He's too special a player, etc.
Extra
Extra
careful or
careful, blah
something.
blah blah. I actually think they should just rest Pant because he's too crucial
Yeah,
for their Australia hope. So give him
I
a
agree.
test match off. Jurel looked good behind the stumps, and he's a damn good batter. I really like the look through Jurel. So I would swap Pant for Jurel to just for precaution right now. You don't need to win all of these games right now. It's not come to a do or die must have. It's a nice to have situation right now. So keep Pant fit for Oz. That leaves us with the interesting question of Washi Sundar. I actually think he's going to replace Kuldeep, playing that Akshar kind of role.
But why? When you've got Akshay, you want somebody who can play an Akshay type of
I
role.
wonder whether it's because there are so many left-handers in the team, in the New Zealand team.
Bowling.
So his bowling, he bowls off spin. And he has a dog called Gabba. So again, this is all
So
prep
that
for Oz, right? Like this is all
I
leading up to the see at the Gabba Ash.
couldn't. I just don't understand the Sundar, the Washingtons. I agree with everything you said about Gale and Jarrell. And I'm saying Akashdeep, but just didn't understand this Washington Sundar move.
Maybe it won't be. Maybe they just got him in because they
Yeah,
want him to be around the team. I mean, Conway got 91. But I mean, equally, you'd argue that if Ashwin can't get a left-hander out, who in the world can, right? I think 50% of his test wickets are left-handers, and 50% of all batters are not left-handers. So that just tells you how many left-handed wickets he's taken.
so let's see. It's not a long gap actually. We're recording Monday night India time, and the next test is on Thursday. So we've basically got 2 days to see how this unfolds, and we'll be back to discuss the next test. DJ, quick shout out to the New Zealand women's
What a day
team
for
for
New
winning
Zealand, right?
the T20 World Cup. What a day indeed. And spare a thought for South Africa. They've hit two T20 World Cup finals in the last 3 to 4 months and come out on the wrong side of both. Just very, very unfortunate. But huge shout out to the New Zealand
Yeah.
team. Congratulations for winning. I mean, favorites always Australia and India. I think New Zealand had lost 10 T20s in a row before this
Yeah.
World Cup.
Yeah. And
And
they
they just came and turned
they
it around.
beat India in the
Yeah.
first shock of the tournament.
Yes, which is the biggest. Which is the reason India's
Yeah.
knocked out.
I mean, India didn't help themselves, and then Pakistan imploded completely. I mean, if you follow this Women's World Cup, there's been some serious
Yeah.
comedy moments in that World Cup. Of course, India lost to Australia. Harmanpreet played a good knock, but some questionable decisions in that last over. I mean, I think Ashwin was trying to tease me comparing her to MS
Compare.
Dhoni, and I'm like, Dhoni would not be taking any singles in the last over. There's no
Yeah, Dhoni
chance.
sends them back.
Yeah, he sent Raidu back. Don't you remember?
He sent Ashwin back also in a in an IPL game where he hit 4 6s of
Yeah,
Akshar.
so I mean, but even then, India had a chance because it only lost by 9 runs, I think. But that meant that Pakistan had to beat New Zealand, which they were on track to doing because they only needed to get 110 runs or something. But of course, there was a Pakistan qualification angle in which case they had to win it in 10 point something overs.
Yeah.
So they went for it and got bowled out for 50 something.
Yeah,
Which meant India obviously went out. Then South Africa shocked Australia, who was basically Ali Sahili was injured, lots of injuries, blah blah.
Yeah.
But still, big team to beat. And yeah, South Africa makes a final. New Zealand gets past the West Indies in quite a close game, to be fair. And then yeah, congratulations to the T20 World T20 Women's Champions, and it's their first T20 trophy, I think, the women's team.
I don't know because I was hearing something that they won something in 2010.
I
But
think they
anyway,
lost
I
the
will
final
check.
to Australia in 2010. Elise Perry, I think, bowled that last over.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm.
Interesting. But yes, they broke the curse that New Zealand has had for the last 10, 15 years. An ICC trophy.
Well,
Kate
they
Mears.
won the World Test Championship final, don't forget.
They did
Don't
absolutely
forget.
against India.
We won't forget.
So we never forget that. Anyway, on that note, guys, that's the episode. We will see you next week. As always, please like and subscribe, follow us. And yeah, we look forward to chatting for the second test.